Good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another wonderful Rotary interview. We're focusing on Rotary Family Health Day. Coming up on the 5th of November is a virtual event where we will be broadcasting a soft launch for Rotary Family Health Day. Rotary Family Health Day is the biggest public-private partnership in South Africa, but extends way beyond South Africa. And today I'm very excited. I get to interview one of the keynote speakers who will be at the soft launch on the 5th of November, but we will also broadcast her address. Sandra Khumalo, welcome. Thank you for making yourself available. You are amazing, Sandra. I was reading this morning your biography and the information that's available about you on the internet. And I mean, you have such a wonderful story to tell. And actually, you know both sides of the coin. The theme for this year for Rotary Family Health Day is all about inclusion and specifically around persons with disabilities. And you have such an amazing story to tell, Sandra, because you were born an able-bodied person. And then what happened? Tell us, Sandra.
Okay, thank you so much for having me. Yeah, I got involved in a car accident in 2005 and lost the use of my legs. I got paralyzed from waist going down. And yeah, and it wasn't easy the first 2 years because you're trying to adapt to the new life now and whole lot of changes that's going on in your body, which is never easy to anyone. But as time went by, I learned to accept my condition and I joined sport. Life changed totally. And since I joined sport, I fell in love working with other people with disabilities, with the work that I do. I developed catheters that are used by people that have lost the use of their bladder. It's a device that I also use myself. So when I go talking about it, I know what I'm talking about. I work with Convatec. So with the work that I do, it's like, what can I say? It's something that I love so much that I have passion. It's like a calling for me that I wake up in the morning and look forward to do that and try and assist as many people as I can that are in my condition. Yeah. So
That's amazing. I mean, I was reading this morning that part of your journey was to strengthen your upper body, obviously, and that's actually what got you involved in sport. So tell us a
yes,
little bit more about that, because you weren't just rehabilitating your body. I mean, you took it to another level, going to the Olympics.
yeah, absolutely. Yeah. When I started, actually, it was like a rehab for myself. And as I was training in the gym, one lady noticed me and she fell in love with what I was doing. And she asked me if I would like to join Paralympians one day. And I said, yes, that's absolutely a dream for me. It's just that I just didn't know who to approach. And yeah, so she told me they're actually recruiting new athletes. And they have rowing in South Africa, para rowing in South Africa, which was fairly new. So yes, and then I went to, after 2 weeks, then she called me and then I joined, and she showed me how to row on a rowing machine and stuff. And she put me in the boat for the first time. I fell in love so much and I felt so much independent, and it was just a nice feeling. And I thought, yeah, this is where I belong. I'm really going to take this to another level and fulfilling that dream that I had of being a Paralympian. So yeah, from there I started training hard every day until they brought me here to Johannesburg from KZN for training camp. And we had a race that I had to race to get into the trials in order also to get into the national squad. So that's how I got selected. And yeah, and then I got into the team and I carried on training, and then I got selected again to go to not Gavirate. It was in Serbia. That was the first international race that I'd ever done, and I didn't even know what to expect. I was pretty nervous about it, but also excited at the same time. And I remember going there the first time, and they called me a new girl from Africa. And surprisingly, I did very well in my first race. I came second and I won a silver medal, and I was selected to participate in London 2012. And from that very time, I didn't really recognize what the change that I'd done to myself. Like, okay, I won a silver medal. But when I flew back home and all the interviews that I was having, then everything started sinking in. And yeah, and a whole lot of change, life changed from there up to now. And I got involved so much working with motivating and inspiring other people with disability.
That is absolutely amazing.
Yeah.
Sandra, I mean, obviously today what I want to chat to you about, because you are just such a role model. I mean, you spoke about the catheters that you developed, that you use. I mean, you really see the world from a different point of view. Talk to us
Mhm.
about the importance of bringing healthcare directly to communities who are not always able to access healthcare from where they are at, especially in South Africa. Now, I've sat in a lot
Mhm.
of conversations around Rotary Family Health Day, um,
Mhm.
and really what Rotary is working with departments of health, the National Department of Health, is about bringing the healthcare to people with disabilities. How important is that? Talk to us about some of your frustrations so that people can really understand, what it is that you're enduring on a day-to-day basis and how important it is to bring healthcare to people with disabilities.
Yeah, I'll say healthcare is number one on my list. And obviously accessibility and buildings and all that stuff. But healthcare, obviously, that's when you're healthy, you're able to get out of the house and be out there and carry on with your day in order for you to have a fruitful day, whether you're going to work, you're going to school, um, whatever that you are going to do for the day. So there's a whole lot that comes with disability. Of course, you get injured. You don't have any disease or anything, but you get injured and then your bladder gets affected. And a lot of people don't know about that. I didn't know as well. But through disability, I got to know that your bladder actually get affected and you're not able to push your own urine. But that does not mean life stops. There are devices that you use that are catheters that I was talking about that will assist you to pass your urine, which is what I use myself. And also you need to have quality of that catheters. What I've seen that is so frustrating, they have this catheters that they use in most of the government hospitals. Because remember now you get injured. Some people get injured differently. You might be injured maybe on the road, then road accident fund can cover your expenses. Or you get injured at work, workman's compensation, or your work can cover expenses. Or maybe you're not working at all. You don't have a medical aid. You cannot afford, or your family cannot afford your paying for your medical bills. So you have to go to the public hospitals in order to get these things. But what I've picked up is they always go for the cheaper devices according to their budgets. But then sometimes they're not always the best for us because it's something that you are putting into your body, and it has to be extremely clean, because if it's not clean, what's going to happen? You're going to have UTI. And when you have UTI, you have to go to work or whatever that you have to do for the day. You have to go to school. Now you have to stop going to school. You have to stop going to work because you have this UTI. It's quite a very bad infection that you get sick for like some days that you need antibiotics. But also going back there now, of course, you select a cheaper type of device that will make you sick. They're going to still pay for your medication to avoid this UTI. That's antibiotics, which costs a lot. Or you're going to have to pay for the hospital. So what's better just to have the right device than just choosing any other type of device, because I mean there are plenty of them as long as it's going to do the job. But also there are consequences that comes with it, with using cheaper devices. So that's one thing that frustrates me a lot, because first thing you're fighting this thing in you that okay, I can't use my bladder. It's frustrating. And when you get UTI, you can leak anytime and you can wet your pants. It's not something that you would like to happen. Like for me, my lifestyle, I'm in and out of meetings every time. And I need to be in front of people, maybe doing talks to schools with kids with disability. And this whole thing goes together with gaining your confidence. So if your health is not okay, is not looked after properly, you're not confident enough to be in front of people to do your job. You're not confident enough to be out of the house because you feel, oh no, I'm not in a good place. And most of the people are stuck in the houses because of these things, and it affects a lot. And some people, they don't feel, if I go to work, how 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 are other people going to look at me, because it's something that you're suffering inside within you. So I'll say healthcare is very, very important. And it's not only that, it goes with a whole lot of things. When you get UTI, you sometimes maybe you end up having wet clothes. And if you don't have anywhere close by to change, you sit on with wet clothes, it can lead into pressure sores. And if you get pressure sores, you can't sit on the chair for a long time, or you can't sit on the chair, or you have to be bedridden. So imagine your life is done. You have to stay in bed every time. I, I cannot handle that. I cannot handle pressure. So it goes a long way when we talk of health, and it can affect your kidneys. Because now remember, you were just injured. You didn't have kidney failure. So this can lead into kidney failure because you're not using the right device, or you cannot afford it all. So if there was a way government will come together, get together with people that knows the right devices, that knows the right quality of things that we'll talk about, they will understand this is not just a matter of just buying an expensive things, but it's a matter of improving people's health and touching and changing people's lives. I'm very strong with this. I'm
Yeah,
very
no,
strong.
it is vital, and I think that's what makes Rotary Family Health Day so exciting, is because
Yeah.
there is this private body of 1.2 million Rotarians around the world joining hands with
Mhm.
government, saying, how do we bring healthcare to these people where they are at? Because
Yeah,
it's not always as easy as getting in your car and driving, or even if you can
exactly.
take public transport. We were talking
Exactly.
an example of someone who has a disability with their vision, with their sight, they can't see. We take all of these things, or not, not everybody does it, but many people take it for granted. And so there is this huge pressure on society to do the right thing and take these resources into these communities, both urban and rural, so that people
Mhm.
can be met at their point where they are at, or a lot closer to home, let's put it that way, because of all
Mhm.
these social issues that are surrounding persons with disability. It's not just the disability itself, it's all the other things that come with it that we really, people don't talk about. So, I mean, Sandra, I
Yeah.
commend you for just putting those issues on the table, because I think they are vitally, vitally important. Okay,
Yes.
today you have a platform. This platform, this
Mhm.
video is going to be shared worldwide with Rotarians,
Mhm.
1.2 million of them, in
Oh,
countries
wow.
on every continent. If you
Mhm.
could speak to this community of people that are hugely powerful and say three things, can you deliver these three things in the next year for persons with disability? What would you ask for?
Okay, transportation first. Because when you don't have transport, you cannot move from one place to another. And whatever public transport that is out there, you just think of an able-bodied person. But are we thinking of people with disability? Are they able to get into that vehicle? Are they able to get into these buses that are there aligned for people like Ria Vaya or the combis? I've had stories that many times you try to put your wheelchair in, they have to charge you double because your wheelchair is going to take extra space that they were going to make money on that space. So now this person has to pay extra. It's not fair. So
No,
that means when you are disabled, you need to have a lot of money. Where are we getting the money
no,
to afford our lifestyle? It's not something that we applied. We didn't apply for it. It happened, but life has to go on. But when life have to go on, can you make it easier for us by making the buildings accessible? And schools also, I've spoken to a lot of adolescent girls because we do this program for adolescent girls with disabilities, that they get injured while they're at work or something happens, and they have to move schools because this school cannot accommodate them because that school is not accessible enough. So can whatever building that we make, that building that we build, think of people with disability. And there are different types of disabilities. It's not only wheelchair. We have blind people, maybe we have amputees, but can it just accommodate people with disabilities? That when you build whatever building, for instance, maybe you're looking for a home, you want to move from your whatever place that you're staying, maybe you are renting, the lease is over, the person has to sell that house, and maybe you cannot afford to buy a house yet, you need to carry on renting, and houses are not accessible a lot. It's so frustrating. They have stairs, maybe the bathroom, you can't fit into a certain bathroom. It's a whole lot. So it's yourself, you accept your condition, but the society does not allow us. It's like we're not included in. We kind of feel excluded because these things they don't allow us to be in the society. You see, so it's transport, it's buildings, also hospitals. Can it be easily enough for people with disability to access them? Or maybe voting places, or people where we go to do our vaccines. Can it be accessible enough or friendly enough for someone just in a wheelchair to just go there and get vaccinated and go? And also transport, think of the transportation for people. Even the roads, for some people that are living in and maybe in rural areas, those roads, they're not built, they're not made enough for people in a wheelchair to wheel. Like, for instance, I've been to Europe. I can get into the street by myself. I'm confident enough to get into the city and just wheel myself because it allow people with disability to. So can that be also done in South Africa or around, so that we have accessibility to go around freely with their wheelchairs? And also sometimes we get people that cannot afford their wheelchairs, they just give a person any type of wheelchair, and this wheelchair is so big, you see this person is so tiny and you can't even wheel that wheelchair. It's so frustrating. You can't walk, that's your form of transport. So can it be made easier or lighter to use?
That's amazing. That's amazing. You brought amazing conversation to the table, Sandra. Social consciousness, there is no question that Rotary has the power to raise the voices of persons with disabilities and bring these key messages into the broader community. 1.2 million Rotarians having this conversation will go a long way. In terms
Yeah.
of the equipment and the sizing of equipment, I think that is something that Rotary can definitely drive, and look for sponsorships around in the various countries that they work. And transport, I mean, transport is the beginning of access to that care, or
It's a
getting
nightmare.
healthcare workers into your personal home space. And I love what you said about voting, because voting is happening here in South Africa next week. Just giving disabled persons the opportunity to vote first so that they can get into a comfortable space, because they are dealing not just with their disability, but all the other issues, as you've mentioned.
Yeah.
Okay, Sandra, amazing. We're going to hear so much more from you on the 5th of November. But to wrap up today, let me ask you, I mean, government has been faithful, 10 years working with RIFA on Rotary Family Health Days, bringing free medical care and support to communities. As a vote of thanks or a note of thanks to our government in South Africa, what would you like to say on behalf of a community of people that are disabled?
I would like to say thank you so much for having the disability fund, because I'm sure if that was not there, a lot of people are living on it. That was not there, it was going to be a nightmare. But if they can increase it a bit, because I can go a long way. Why I'm saying it's because of the major necessity, not wants, but necessity that we live with every day, that we need that to be a bit increased. But on that, I really say thank you. Most of the people are able to put food on the tables because of that fund. If it wasn't there, I don't know what was going to happen.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Thank you, Sandra. So, on behalf of myself, Shereen Hunter, and Rotary International District 9400, RIFA, we say thank you. Thank you so much to the Rotary Health Day project team led by Sue Padgett. She's been amazing. To the National Department of Health, thank you so much for your collaboration with Rotary International. 10 years this year. It's a wonderful accomplishment, a wonderful success. And thank you for the funds that you offer to persons with disability to make their life just that little bit easier. Thank you so much, Sandra. Thank you for a wonderful interview. We will see you again streamed and broadcast around the world on the 5th of November. If you're a public person or a Rotarian, remember to hop online on our social media pages, Rotary District 9400 or any of the RIFA social media pages, and then click on the link to register and you'll hear a little bit more from Sandra, the Minister of Health, Jennifer Jones, our President-elect for the next term, wonderful speakers that will be there. But thank you once again, Sandra, you've been amazing.
Thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.